All right, let's dive into a philosophical puzzle that's been stumping people for over 2,000 years. And it all starts with a legendary ship. So picture this. We're in ancient Greece, and we're talking about the hero Theseus. After a huge victory, the people of Athens are so proud they decide to preserve his ship as a monument for everyone to see. But, there's a small problem. Wooden ships don't really last forever. The historian Plutarch actually wrote about this. He said that as the ship's old wooden planks started to rot away, the Athenians began this super careful process of repair. Every time an old plank went bad, they'd replace it with a brand new, totally identical one, all to keep the monument looking perfect. Imagine how that would happen, just one piece at a time. A plank rots, you swap it out. A few years later, another one goes. And this keeps happening for decades, maybe even centuries, until you reach this incredible moment. Not a single original piece of the ship is left. It's now made entirely of new material. So, here's the first big question for you. Is this ship, the one that looks the same but has none of its original parts, still the Ship of Theseus? Your gut might say, yes, of course it is. But this is where things start to get really complicated. Yeah, this is the point where a simple little riddle explodes into a full-blown, mind-bending paradox, all thanks to a really clever twist that later philosophers added to the story. Just what if some historian, or maybe just a really dedicated collector, had been gathering up every single one of those old, original, discarded planks, and then, very carefully, they put them all back together exactly as they were in the beginning. So now you have this amazing showdown. On one side, you've got the repaired ship. It has a continuous, unbroken history. It never stopped being the monument. But on the other side, you've got the reassembled ship, which is made of 100% of the original stuff, even though its existence was, interrupted for a while. So this is the heart of the problem. All of a sudden, we have two different ships, and they both seem to have a really strong claim to the same name. Is it the one that's been sitting in the harbor this whole time? Or is it the one built from all the old parts? Which one is the real Ship of Theseus? To even try to answer that, we have to pull the camera way back and ask a much, much deeper question, one that philosophers have been arguing about forever. What actually gives anything its identity? What makes something the same thing from one moment to the next? I mean, think about it. Is it the literal atoms and molecules something is made of? Or is it more about its shape, its design, and what it does? Maybe what really matters is that it has an unbroken history. Or maybe it's just the story we all agreed to tell about it. See, the paradox forces you to pick what's most important. Well, one group of philosophers has a very straightforward answer. The idea is called mereological essentialism. It sounds super fancy, I know, but the concept is actually pretty simple. An object is defined by the parts it's made of, period. The identity is locked into the original stuff. And if you go with that logic, you get a very clear answer. The reassembled ship, made of all the original planks, is the real Ship of Theseus. That means the one in the harbor is just a copy, a replica. Case closed, right? Well, not so fast. Because thinkers like Aristotle would come along and argue that an object's essence isn't just its physical matter, it's also its form, its design, its purpose, its structure. The repaired ship kept its form and its function as the memorial. It carried on the story. And for a lot of people, that continuous existence is what really defines its identity. And this is the moment where this ancient riddle stops being about some old boat and starts being about you. Get this. It takes about 7 years for the vast majority of the cells in your body to be replaced by new ones. That's right. Just like the ship, your body is constantly repairing and replacing itself. The atoms that make you up today are not the same ones that made you up when you were a kid. Your physical planks, your cells, have almost all been swapped out. So let's ask the same question. Are you the same person you were 7 years ago, or 10, or 20? If your identity isn't tied to your physical body, then what is it? Your memories? Your consciousness? Suddenly, this isn't just a puzzle. It's deeply personal, because our entire society is built on the idea that you are the same person who made promises and built relationships years ago. And the truth is, there is no single easy answer to this puzzle. And that is exactly why it's so fascinating. It's a thought experiment that was specifically designed to show us the limits of how we think about identity. You can see that different philosophical theories give you totally different answers. If you focus on the original parts, you're going to pick the reassembled ship. If you care more about its continuous form or its unbroken path through time, you'll probably pick the repaired ship. There are even more complex theories that say, hey, maybe they both have a claim to the name. There's just no consensus. And that brings us to what I think is the most important point of all. The goal of this whole exercise was never to find the one correct solution. That's not where its real power comes from. Its real value is in the act of questioning itself. It forces us to stop and think about how we define ourselves and everything around us. It makes us challenge our basic ideas of what it even means for something to be the same when it's constantly changing. Which leaves us all with one final big question to chew on. In a world where everything is constantly in motion, constantly changing, from ships to stars to the very cells in our bodies, what is it that truly endures? What part of you or of anything actually stays the same?